How did the Russians go from a civil war to invading the US and Europe after a 5-year civil war? We know the ultranationalists took control of the Russian government and won the civil war, so they can essentially merge equipment like weapons, vehicles, and things like that into the stockpiles of what the previous regime left behind. So this would explain why they even have enough equipment to invade the US and later go on to invade Europe. And this is really backed up actually, because in Modern Warfare 3, the PMCs, or the remains of most of the loyalists, are only seen with a couple of helicopters and jeeps. Oh, also Soap talks about using really cheap equipment in his journal, so that really solidifies the fact that the loyalists definitely left the bulk of their equipment and vehicles behind. So how would they have the manpower? Well, since the ultranationalists control the government, this means anyone who enlists into the military would be enlisted under them. Also, I like to imagine some of the Russian loyalists just decided to stay and join the ultranationalist cause, and it doesn't really allude to this or outright say it in the lore, but it does make sense. Not everyone wants to leave home because the loyalists were hiding out in India after losing. Not to mention, all the ultranationalist rebels therefore would be the legitimate military. Then we already know the Russian people don't really like the US due to the death of Zakhaev, so once the No Russian mission occurred and the US looked like it was backing Makarov to do terror attacks, this would definitely inspire thousands and thousands to enlist into the Russian military to go to war with the US. And this is actually backed up by in-game lore when Makarov says that the Russian people will cry for war after discovering Joseph Allen's body. And after the devastating losses during the invasion of the US, how would they even have the manpower still to invade Europe during Modern Warfare 3? And for the people that don't know, and I know most of us know this, but you got to realize Makarov has his own army, but he's not part of the Russian government. He's a wanted terrorist all around the world, including Russia. But Makarov, after kidnapping the Russian president, essentially took over the Russian government. This is why the Inner Circle, or Makarov's army, was working with the actual Russian military once the invasion of Europe began. So basically, Makarov's army was combined with the new Russian government's army for the invasion of Europe. Oh, I failed to mention that some parts of the new Russian government are actually sympathetic towards Makarov, like generals in the military and some politicians. And it's not completely unbelievable because Makarov and his group are still ultranationalists, just even more extreme than the regular party, which is why they were basically ousted from the main ultranationalist group. And this is actually backed up because when Boris Vorshevsky is rescued at the diamond mine and returns to Russia, he says he's cleansing his party of any Makarov supporters after being betrayed by his own party. So Makarov doing a coup and taking over the Russian government, then Boris Vorshevsky saying that, confirms that yes, it was the Inner Circle and the actual Russian government invading Europe. So after going over everything in this very long short, this explains how the Russians not only had the equipment but the manpower to invade the US and Europe after a 5-year long civil war.